This forecast is underwritten by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi and the MyBlue mobile app for people on the go. More at bcbsms.com.
After the cold frontal passage and some much-needed rainfall for portions of the state on Thursday, it looks like we're headed for another run of dry weather that will last from the weekend into the middle part of next week. For Tupelo, as we go through the night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows in the upper 50s, winds light from the northeast. Skies become mostly sunny for Saturday, a beautiful day with highs in the upper 70s. For Meridian and central Mississippi, mostly cloudy with patchy fog possible after midnight, lows in the lower 60s. Patchy morning fog, then decreasing clouds on Saturday with highs in the lower 80s. Finally, along the Gulf Coast in Biloxi and Gulfport, decreasing clouds through the night, lows in the mid-60s, sunny and lower 80s on Saturday. I'm meteorologist Matthew Harding. This is Think Radio.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to week 11 of Friday Night Under the Lights. So just to remind you of a couple things, if you're watching us online, the ticker is up and running for showing you all of the games that are going on. And otherwise, George will keep us up with all the scores. So here is Russ Robinson.
Thank you very much, Chris Saxton, our producer tonight. Ty Bailey on the phone, George Broadstreet to my left, and I'm Russ, and we'll be here until midnight tonight. Got a lot of games covered. Can you believe it's week 11?
No, it's kind of hard, and this is one of these weeks we get down to, there's some playoffs in MAIS started. And, it's kind of late in the year, and a lot of the schools that are going to be in the playoffs next week some of them were scheduled to play on Thursday night, a lot of Thursday night games. Some of those Thursday night games got switched to tonight because the weather was pretty bad last night in most places. So it's kind of interesting, a lot of balance, but we got a lot of scores. So
let's get to it.
Okay, well, let me give you, I'm going to start with Friday night scores. Brandon beat Meridian 42-14. Warren Central all over Callaway 45-6. It was Corinth beating Clarksdale 49-20. Last report, fourth quarter, don't have a final yet, but Germantown was ahead of Clinton 46-35. That's been a pretty high scoring game all night. Horn Lake over DeSoto Central 26-20. South Jones beat Florence 23-17. Gaucher over Stone 35-6. It was Ocean Springs 20, Gulfport 3. That was a little bit of a surprise.
Ooh, yeah.
Hamilton beat Hatley 34-14. New Hope over Lafayette 42-7. Oxford shut out Lewisburg 43-0. Brookhaven all over North Pike 38-6. Oak Grove beat Pearl pretty bad tonight. 41-13 was the final. South Panola won their 8th game of the year. They beat Olive Branch 42-14. Petal doubled up Northwest Rankin 20-10. Harold will be thrilled.
Yes, he will.
And Macomb shut out Raymond 42-0. South Delta beat Shaw 24-12. This was a surprise to me, at least the score margin. Madison Central at home handed Starkville their third loss of the year. 31-8 was the final there. East Central 28, Van Cleve 26. Wayne County over Laurel 20-6. Pascagoula beat West Harrison 28-20. West Point 34, Pontotoc 14. Some MAIS scores of interest. Your ball game, Jackson Prep. No trouble with Madison St. Joe 56-12. Hartfield struggled a little bit with Jackson Academy. Hartfield won 28-17 was the final there. These are 5A MAIS playoffs, first round. Copiah Academy 36, Starkville 7. Simpson Academy over Heritage 47-21. 4A Columbia Academy 43, Clinton Christian 8. And I think that's all I have at this point. We'll get some more. And we'll give you some of these Thursday night scores as we go on.
All right. We don't have an MRA score yet.
No, they were playing PCS tonight, and that was at MRA. So I'm sure we'll get a score here in a
Well,
minute.
and of course, John Weaver's going to call us in the second hour. Let us know how that one goes.
Yeah, just don't make him call it 11:45
It's
again.
not 11:40. It's 11:30. It's not 11:45. But Granny's going to call tonight. He was. Where did he tell me he was going? He was going. Oh, he's going to the Madison Central Starkville game.
Okay.
So we'll get
give us a good report on that.
Get us a good report on that.
And by the way, you're here and on time tonight. Kind of unusual.
Easy when you have a running clock.
Okay. All right.
It was, do we have anybody on it?
We do, but did you, I heard you say, did you have some Thursday night scores you haven't given yet?
Yeah, you may give
And
me those.
then as soon as you do that, we'll go to Mike Peterson.
Okay.
Okay, well, let me give you some.
Do we have a
and,
Hattiesburg? No, Hattiesburg doesn't play tonight, I don't think.
I'm not sure. Let me see. Let me go through this. Pass Christian, 49. Bay High, 35. This was Thursday night. Biggersville shut out Thrasher, 35-0. Myrtle shut out H.W. Byers, 45-0. Sacred Heart over Enterprise Lincoln, 28-20. Noxapater played Ethel. Noxapater won, 38-13. Forest over Morton, 28-3. It was Poplarville. Actually, Greene County beat Poplarville 49-28. Hazelhurst shut out Crystal Springs 29-0.
No dancing in the streets.
Not sure if Ty's going to call tonight. Heidelberg over Collins 58-6. Jeff Davis County over Bay Springs 32-0. It was Kemper County over Southeast Lauderdale 24-0. Kossuth over Alcorn Central 43-0. Scott Central 37, Lake 13. Forest County AHS over Lawrence County 14-6. McGee won for the ninth time on the season. They beat Seminary 20-14. MAIS beat Richton 41-8. Maybe one of the best games of the night. Kosciuszko edged Murrah 36-35. East Webster 70, Nettleton 14. Let's see. Leaks Central edged North Forest 28-26. Northeast Jones shut out Mendenhall 30-0. See, I told you there's a lot of games on Thursday night.
There was a lot Thursday. Wow.
Tylertown beat Perry Central 43-16. Pisgah over Puckett 41-14. Columbia beat Purvis 38-14. Raleigh shut out Pelahatchie 52-0. It was Riverside shutting out O'Bannon 8-0. Another shutout, Simmons shut out West Bolivar 48-0. Let's see, Stringer over Mount Olive 42-6. Taylorsville shut out Leake County 54-0. Baldwin 63. Tupelo Christian Prep 17. Vardaman over Okolona 42-12. And let me give you one more. West Marion 32. St. Stanislaus 3.
All right.
Well, we're going to talk to Mike, but to tell you something he's going to talk about that we can already have, Hattiesburg 28.
Okay.
Terry 14.
Okay.
And here is Mike.
Hey, Mike, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Heading north on Interstate 55 back to the hub city with a 28-14 win tonight. A hard-fought 28-14 win tonight. Terry is not a bad ball club, and Tigers trailed after one period 14-7, and second half got it together, outscored Byram 21-0, and won it by final score 28-14. Playing Jones for the region championship next week.
I'll tell you, they've done a lot of really nice improvements over at Terry, hadn't they?
Yes, Terry has got a real nice facility over there. A lot of upgrades, and got a really good ball club.
That's what I'm hearing. Defensively, they're pretty strong. But you guys, the Tigers, did what they do and shut them out in the second half. Who stood out for the Tigers tonight?
Freshman running back Hayden Leverett. He scored a couple of touchdowns tonight and probably had over 100 yards rushing.
All right,
he was our go-to guy tonight.
All right, you said that this kind of propels you to the game next week. Is that correct?
It does. West Jones also won tonight, so they're undefeated in the region. Hattiesburg's undefeated in the region. So the winner will be the number 1 seed. Loser will be number 2, but both teams have clinched a home playoff game.
Well, and now Hattiesburg, though, is undefeated on the season. Is that correct?
We are. We're 9-0 on the season. Yes, we are.
9-0, and West Jones will come in with one loss out of conference.
Out of conference.
And I think they were kind of crippled on that one loss that they had, but it sounds like they've got everybody back now, and they're kind of that may be one of the marquee games of the week next weekend.
Oh, there's no doubt it will be, and also that game will be next Thursday night.
That's what you were sending me the text for. Yeah, because that's just it. No, that's your place, right?
Right. Well, no, it's going to be at West. It's going to be at West Jones.
Oh, what an atmosphere that's going to be, Mike. I mean, they love their football down there at West Jones, and that
absolutely. If it wasn't the work night, you'd be tailgating at about noon that day.
You're right about that. Well, Mike, be careful. Keep it between the lines on the way home. Get home safely. And we will definitely want to talk to you next Friday about what happened this next Thursday.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Mike. Mike Peterson of the Hattiesburg Tigers.
You know, I'm a little surprised, but you know who's on the phone?
Ty
Boyd. Hang on just a second. I'll tell you when he's ready. He is still talking to
another Ty
on
yes.
the other Ty, the guy handling our phones.
But Crystal Springs did lose tonight.
Oh, he's ready.
Okay, you
Here's
ready?
Ty.
Yeah. They only won one game this year.
That is. Ty, you're with us, right?
Yes.
You won one game this year. This was a Tiger team that was supposed to make noise. What happened?
We just couldn't do anything. We had 27 players, like I told you before the season started. Most of them quit.
Yeah, you started out with 27?
Started out, we had 90 out before the season started. Then when the season was going, almost all of them quit.
Wow, that's like 50 players, 45 players that
Yeah.
quit. So they lose tonight to a Hazelhurst team. So I'm assuming that the playoffs are totally out.
Yes.
Well, last game is next weekend.
No, we're done.
Oh, you're done. Okay.
Yes, we're 3-8. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wow, what a tough season for Crystal Springs.
And did you get my text I sent you last night
I did.
about the fight?
Well-
I got off the field.
Yeah, I got the text about it. I didn't hear much about it, but tough night for the Tigers all the way around.
Yes.
Well, there's always next year.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's well, go ahead and take us to break, big boy.
Go down! Look him over! Thank you!
Thanks, Ty. By the way, if you haven't figured it out, he's a big Bulldog fan
Yeah.
and a big Texas fan
Yeah.
and a big Crystal Springs fan.
Does Texas have a game tomorrow?
Yeah, but I think it's like, what's the matter, you, or something,
Okay,
Quaker
okay.
State or something like that. It's nobody really big. I don't
Okay.
think, yeah.
Okay. Maybe the Dogs will get one tomorrow. They play UMass.
I hope that's a home game.
It is.
I wouldn't want to travel up
No,
there.
I wouldn't either.
You know what surprised me is the amount of Thursday night games that were even played
Yeah.
with the rain.
Yeah. I mean, there was quite a few. I mean, there was like 60 something scheduled. I never really understand that exactly.
As to
But, I
why
mean,
they're playing on Thursday?
Well, I know at one point in time, you remember a few years ago, there was the whole thing about they didn't have enough officials, and then when they got to, but I'm not really sure the rationale completely for that. But
I think it's still officials.
Well, I know next week a lot of these games, a lot of the 7A schools are playing on Thursday night.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Scheduled
Yeah,
that way.
I mean, yeah, they're scheduled that way. I don't really understand it. But we're traditionalists and we prefer Friday night. But eventually, when they get to the playoffs, they'll be on Friday night.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, the championship games will be at Southern.
Yes.
And we'll find out from Jared more about that. Jared and MPB are going to carry it on radio, all of them, all the
Right.
games on radio.
Right.
And he does a really good job with that. And then the next week is the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star Game, and it's at the University of South Alabama this year. And the week after that is the Bernard Blackwell.
Yeah, and you probably need to, because, being a traditionalist, back years ago, that's the way they did the All-Star game. You know, I mean, I think it was right. It was kind of like right at the end of the season. And
I remember doing one in June.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
It was tough.
Yeah. Anyway.
They thought the players was gassed. I was out by half. It was so hot. Hey, we're going to step aside, take a break. We got a lot of folks lined up tonight for you. Hope that you enjoy the show. You want to get in and call us, we'll give you the number as soon as we return on Friday Night Under the Lights, made possible tonight by Cricket Wireless. Smile. You're on Cricket.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
Hello, Mississippi. Did you know that the average student graduates college with $30,000 worth of debt? That amount of debt can delay major life milestones, including getting married, buying a home, and starting a family. But don't worry, we've got some good news for you tonight. College Savings Mississippi and Treasurer David McRae can help you reduce or eliminate that debt. Their plans are flexible and affordable. Start saving for as little as $25 today. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
I volunteer at a bunny rescue, and with Cricket, my bill is consistent.
Wait, this is huge! A new offer, 5G for $15. You heard it here first. 5G plans starting at $15 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
If the money's yours, you should have it. That's why State Treasurer David McRae has returned a record $80 million in unclaimed money to Mississippians, and there's hundreds of millions more, maybe with your name on it. Check the list. Visit www.treasury.ms.gov and see if you have any of the unclaimed money. Each year, banks, utilities, businesses, brokers, and insurance companies turn over millions of dollars to the state because they're not sure who is entitled to the funds. Treasurer McRae has an entire unclaimed money staff waiting to take your claim and return your money. Check the list today. Treasury.ms.gov.
And we're back. Got callers on the phone. We'll have Reed Vance when you're ready.
I'm ready. I'm always ready to talk to Reed, yeah.
Oh, okay. Here is Reed.
Reed Vance, of course, the play-by-play voice for the Warren Central Vikings, and joins us on Friday Night on the Lights. Really good win for you guys tonight, Reed.
Yeah, a really big win for Warren Central. You know, we've been talking for several weeks about how they needed a game where they finally put it all together, and while they did it tonight with a 45-6 win over Callaway, Aiden Greer scored a couple of touchdowns for the Vikings. The Vikings took advantage of a couple of Callaway mistakes. There were two muffed punts, one of which was returned 20 yards and a fumble return by Larry Reynolds for a touchdown. And then their kicker, Jonah Artman, added field goals tonight of 43 and 42 yards. He is now 9 of 10 on the season, along with 46. That's the kind of difference maker when it comes to playoff time, I think, when the Vikings get into the playoffs. But, you know, they really did put it all together tonight. We had been talking about how they need to eliminate penalties. I think they maybe had 3 or 4 tonight. And they needed to have a put-away mentality on offense. And they certainly did that tonight, built a 24-0 halftime lead. We had a running clock for most of the second half. And it was just a dominating performance for Warren Central on Senior night.
Did Coach Morgan, when he had the rolling clock, did he put the youngsters in?
He did. He did put the youngsters in, and Fred Nixon was one of the backup running backs. fullback, and he ran for a touchdown late in that ball game. And Harbor Williams got some time at quarterback. And this is a senior-laden football team. 25 seniors on this team, and most of them are starters. This is kind of the year for them. But he did get some backups in tonight, and they have one more game before playoff time. They'll tune up against Columbus next Thursday night.
Where is that game?
Going to be at Columbus.
Oh, you're going to love that ride.
Oh yeah, good places to eat. Nice trip up to North Mississippi. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it will be. Well, you'll be busy tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be raking pine straw out of my yard. The Choctaws are off tomorrow, so no NC football tomorrow. But I've got, pine straw is like gold. That stuff's expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So I'm using it, but I could sell it and make some serious cash.
Yeah, but that's hard work, too.
Yeah.
It is. Well, I would invite you all to come join me in the hard work tomorrow, but I know you all, so I know that's not going to happen.
Gosh, Reed, look at the time. We got to go. I don't envy you tomorrow, but you might want to get the wife in on that deal.
That's not going to happen either.
Well, congratulations on the win tonight, Reed, and we'll talk to you on your way back from Columbus next week.
Sounds good. Y'all have a good night.
All right,
All right,
thanks.
you too. Greg Flynn?
Greg Flynn.
Greg
Here you
Flynn.
go.
Well, Gregory,
I would pay money to watch you rake pine straw.
is it the rake that fans out, or is it the other rake that does that? I hadn't figured it out.
I would stream it.
Oh, because speaking of streaming, your club tonight was streaming but not scoring enough. Is that correct?
Well, it was a really good game for 3 quarters. The Pirates were really hanging in there with Oak Grove, but man, can that Oak Grove quarterback Hall, he throws lasers for bombs, and man, is he a good quarterback. He's got an unbelievable arm. He threw 2 long bombs for touchdowns. He ran for another one, and the Pirates had a really good ground game tonight to keep, but they were having to be long, sustained drives, and it just ran out in the end. The fourth quarter, Oak Grove scored. The Pirates then were driving down inside the 15-yard line, had a muff snap, and Oak Grove took it 90 yards for a score, scoop and score. And then Pirates get the ball back again, and they wind up throwing an interception. It gets returned to the 5, and then it avalanched from there. And I think the final was 41-13.
Yeah, but and we say this from time to time, and people find it hard to believe, but you say the game was closer than that score indicates. In a game like you just called tonight and saw, that is the case, where the game is closer than with the score, but you give up a couple of quick scores at the end of the ballgame, it balloons up.
Yeah, they score once on their own, and then you hand them 2 more scores right away, and what was a 1-score game becomes a 4-score game because you add 21 to it. So, it just went really, really fast against the Pirates. And so, now they'll have senior night next week as Meridian will come to town, and, be looking forward to next year when we can get Jack Durr back as our quarterback.
Yeah, I think that was the key, and you called it early on. I mean, there was a lot riding on his shoulder pads, and he's out for this year. So been a tough year, but this is a program that will be in that weight room as soon as it's over with, and be getting ready for next year. And I know you're looking forward to being on the call on the Miss Al game and the Bernard Blackwell game. So your season's not done yet.
No, and I'm looking forward to calling some of the Pearl Pirates that are going to be in it, because Ken Hewitt and Tyler Jenkins and Caleb Arterberry, 3 names that everybody in this state will be listening to on Saturdays next year. They are some tremendous defenders, and I would highly encourage them to be watching both the Bernard Blackwell and the Ms. Al game.
Well, I was just telling George before we got on the air, Dr. Dave sent us some numbers on last year's game. Over 56,000. And they're still watching it. So
that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
But how many could I get for streaming you with your pine straw?
You're in excess of 56,000. I think
you're in excess of probably 2 million on that.
Talk about picking up some cash. Stream that deal. Well, Greg, have a
then
good.
We can all retire like right now, all on the back of front.
And all it took was a little yard raking. Have a great weekend, my friend, and we will talk to you next week after the Meridian game.
You guys too.
Thanks, bud. All right.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, life's so different now than it was, a long time ago. But I mean, people watch anything, just absolutely anything.
And listen to anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's true.
This
but
guy
it's just
told me
weird.
this week, said, you got to listen to this podcast. You got to listen to this podcast.
Yeah. I'm not even sure what a podcast is.
I was 3 minutes into it going, that's 3 minutes of my life I won't get back. Oh gosh.
Anyway.
Well, you can always count on MPB to have this show where we actually let you know what's going on.
Yeah, and there's good stuff out there too, but there's a lot of stuff that, man, what are people thinking?
I don't know. One guy this week I heard was getting on people because they weren't subscribing and he was just watering his garden. I said, boy, let me jump on and just subscribe to that. All right, let's go with some scores.
Let me give you some more that we have not given you before. Biloxi defeated Harrison Central 30-23. Final score, Germantown did beat Clinton 53-35. A lot of points in that game. Hattiesburg, we mentioned this one earlier, doubled up Terry 28-14. Two good football teams there. Jefferson County defeated Wesson 46-34. Shannon beat Amory 51-26. Those are games played tonight. We've mentioned this before, but Prep defeated Madison St. Joe 56-12. Capaya over Starkville 36-7. That was a playoff game. Here's another playoff game, a 3A MAIS playoff game. North Delta shut out Carroll Academy 35-0. And this is a 1A playoff game, but Marvel defeated Tallulah. That was a little bit of an upset.
Yeah, it is an upset.
70-62.
Whoa!
And that's what I think
that's got to be it, man. That's got to be it, man. It was.
Yeah.
I got one for you. MRA did win.
Oh, okay.
49-17.
Okay.
And they were playing
PCS.
So Joseph Craven's going to call in a little bit and kind of set up the playoff scenario for us. And so we'll find out who's playing who. But he told me on the way over, he sent me a text going, it was the bowl game to stay away from Prep.
Oh, okay.
That's what that was. That one was billed as. But I'm gonna tell you what. As I watched JA tonight, they played well.
Yeah, I think JA's gotten a lot better as the season goes on.
A lot better. Tommy Barnett's going to call us in a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking it's a 4-horse race. We'll see, because I think any one of those teams can beat anyone on a given night. We'll see how that plays out. But big thanks to Ross Haley for sending that in to me. We'll be talking with John Weaver in the second hour, but Ross obviously heard that we didn't have that score and called it in. And, boy, he does a great job for MRA, so appreciate the call there, Ross. All right, so coming up in the next hour, scheduled is Tommy Upton with Picayune. Have you got it?
I've not seen if they were playing a close game with George County, but I have not seen a final yet.
So they're playing the Deuce.
Yes.
And also Tommy Burnett's going to talk to us about the JA game. They threw an 80-yard touchdown bomb tonight. Yeah, it was really interesting. And then Jake Wimberly going to be along to talk about
Brandon.
Yeah. And so we'll see if Green Bay is next on their roster, on their playoff.
Well, they're 8-1, and I know they have one game left on their schedule, of course, before the playoffs start. But it really kind of looks like they should be the team to emerge 7A in the South. But we'll just wait and see what happens.
Well, and I think we got a pretty good idea who's going to emerge from the North.
Tupelo.
which is the number one team in the state right now.
Yeah, I don't believe they played tonight. I think they had an off week. So,
well, Ray Coleman's going to call me, and he said, I'll spend about that much time on the Tupelo Clinton game last week. But he said he'll be calling in. So a lot still up on Friday night under the lights, and want to remind you that tonight's show being made possible by Malone Roofing. You don't expect all the weather we've had. Those guys have been sitting around. They've been very busy. And, of course, they're more than just roofers. They're a part of your community. Malone Roofing, sponsor of Friday Night Under the Lights. Going to take time out and be back with more in a moment.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
I was paying too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
I was paying too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones. Whoa! Free phones? That's 5G. And nationwide coverage.
Pretty good deal.
Smile, you're on cricket.
1 in 10 Mississippians has unclaimed money awaiting claim at the state treasury. There's literally hundreds of millions of dollars waiting to be united with the rightful owner. At www.treasury.ms.gov to search. You'll see your name and stake your claim by following these instructions. You'll be asked for some basic ID like a copy of your license or a government-issued ID, then hit send. Treasurer David McRae has a dedicated unclaimed money team awaiting your claim, ready to return your money. Don't wait. Look for your name and stake your claim today. www.treasury.ms.gov.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones?
Nationwide coverage and lightning fast 5G?
Smile, you're on cricket.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools in South Mississippi like Gulfport, Moss Point, and Ocean Springs stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run. And your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
You know, Russ, we've got some callers on. The first one for you to talk to, Jake Wimberly.
Oh, Jake, another night at the office for the Bulldogs. You just keep rolling.
Yeah, Russ, hey, rolling. I appreciate you having me in as always. Friday night, Brandon rolls at Meridian. They went 42 to 14. They hit a running clock. And, look, this is a team that's hitting its stride at the right time. And, you look at Brandon tonight, Slade Shack, sophomore quarterback. He has played his best ball the last 2 weeks. He's got 20 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions on the season. He's got a high completion percentage. He threw for well over 300 tonight and had 4 touchdowns. Tyson Robinson, All-American running back. This is a sophomore. He's got offers from everybody in the country outside of Georgia. He went again 150 total yards, a couple of touchdowns tonight. Defensively, this is the best Brandon defense that we've seen in a number of years. I mean, they're speed from one end of the field to the other. Russ, this team is beat. They locked up the region championship tonight with Petal knocking out Northwest tonight. So Brandon gets the number 1 seed. out of Region 4. Since Sam Williams, Russ, has been at Brandon, they are 22-1. 22-1 in Region 3, 6, and 7A. That's 4 straight region championships for Sam Williams. Hat tip to Coach Williams. That is a remarkable run. Obviously, you want to cap it, with a state championship at some point, hopefully this year. But, I mean, they're beating teams this year in the region, Russ, an average of 45-13. They're rolling on the right all cylinders right now.
And George and I were just speculating. We feel like Brandon will come out out of the south, and it looks like, Tupelo may come out of the north. What would you think about that matchup?
Oh, I think it will be a heck of a matchup. I mean, look, Tupelo is steamrolled everybody in the north, and we know that, I haven't really had a chance to see them play, but just doing a little research. I mean, you're talking about a big offensive front and a team that's going to block and tackle well, and I think Brandon may have the edge at skill position players, but I mean, I think it would be a really, really big matchup. But Russ, we got to get there first.
Yeah.
Things can get crazy over the next few weeks.
Yeah, it has a tendency to do. What did my boy Quincy do tonight?
Quincy had a good night tonight. I think I had him somewhere around 9 catches for around 125 yards and a couple touchdowns. He's a guy, Russ, that just continues week in and week out to find space. He had a rushing touchdown tonight. I mean, Coach Williams and Coach Wyatt Rogers, the offensive coordinator, they do a great job of getting him the football in a variety of ways, from lining him up in the slot to find open grass to put him in the backfield. He is just a heck of an asset. I mean, you talk about a utility player for Brandon. Kickoff return guy, leads the team in kickoff and punt return yardage. So, again, another big night for Quincy Phillips Jr.
I was talking with somebody, Jake, this week that that had seen Brandon play, and I said, what's the one word you would use to describe this team? And he said balanced. He said whether it's running or passing, they do both well, and they know when to do it.
No, I think that's fair. I mean, this is by far the most talented Brandon squad that, and I've been here 15 years now. It's the most talented Brandon squad that I've ever seen. Brandon, I think most Brandon folks outside of the Jarius Norwood years would say it's probably the most balanced and talented they have seen. There's just a number of players. It's not one guy. It's not two. You've got several of the guys, just if I go Jackie Sherrill and you may watch them, 20 may catch a couple passes, 5, 8, now 16, Eli Morey, a junior wide receiver, he got some time tonight, caught a big 65-yard touchdown pass. So it's very balanced, and defensively, they can run to the football. And the way they've really structured this defensive alignment now, not the biggest team up front, but the team speed is just unlike anything I think that we have ever seen at Brandon.
Well, and you've seen a lot of good ones over the 15 years, and I agree with you. This may be one of the best that's come out. Now, you locked up the region championship. What's up in front of you now?
Got Northwest Rankin, obviously a big rival. When you talk about the Cougars and the Bulldogs next Thursday night, this will be one for pride. Obviously, you want to treat it like a playoff game. So, Flowood, as I call them, North Brandon, they'll come and pack the stadium with us, and it'll be a fun ball game next week as you kind of sharpen the axe for the playoffs here in 2 weeks.
All right, my man. Well, be careful coming home, and we appreciate the call as always, Jake. And congratulations on the win. Enjoy your football Saturday.
Thanks, Russ. Talk to you soon.
All right, Jake Wimberly.
Tom. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to give you one score.
Go ahead.
You'd ask about Picayune.
Yeah.
We did get a report. And this is the reason why we'd not gotten that final. It went 4 overtimes.
Oh.
Picayune and George County. Picayune won 27-20 in 4 overtimes. So Picayune is now 8-2. George County 6-4. But that was quite a ball game.
6-4 with Deuce.
Yeah.
He may be one of the best in the state.
You got to have people around you.
That's right. That's right. All right, Chris, who do we have?
Well, we've got Tommy Barnett first, and then what you just talked about, we'll have Tommy Upton. They're both on the phone.
Okay. Don't let Harold get away either.
Hang on, Tommy Barnett.
Hey, Tommy.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I had one of those games tonight where I was watching mine with the left eye and watching yours with the right eye.
Yeah, well, you're right. I saw a really good game then, Ross.
Yeah, he really did.
It was really I was telling Ty, it's one of those coulda, woulda, shoulda games, man. Jay outgained Hartfield, one time of possession. Of course, high school games, 70 to 75 plays total, comes down to 4 or 6 plays, and every single one of those 4 to 6 plays went to Hartfield's way tonight. 28-17 was the final, but Jay, it's 21-17. Jay had the ball first and goal with right at 3 minutes to play to take the lead and couldn't convert. And then Hartfield had a big long run by Kenzie West to kind of put the game on ice. But solid effort by the Raiders tonight. Still think I think it could make a lot of noise.
From what I saw, of course, I saw the 80-yard touchdown play in the first half. But it looks like to me, Tommy, and kind of like we've been here before, like last year, when the Raiders made that run in the second half of the season and actually turned out to be one of the better teams in the league.
Yeah, and of course, we had this conversation, I think, three Friday nights ago. You asked me how many teams, and I told you 3. I still thought Jay was a year away. I think I need to recant my discussion on that. I do think it's a 4-team race. I would say Jay's the naturally the number 4 of those, but there's nothing that would shock me if Jay were to get on the run and win this thing. I mean, all 4 teams are really good, Russ.
There's a lot of balance there, but what I saw tonight, Tommy, and of course, MRA had no problem with PCS, and Prep had no problem with St. Joe. Your game tonight, kind of the marquee game in that 4-horse race. I'm with you. I think it's a 4-horse race, and that's why they have the playoffs. And so set up the scenario for the Raiders.
So back at home next week against PCF, and that's the team that we just played a week ago down in Hattiesburg, beat them 38-0. So definitely feel good about that matchup, and then you win that one, and you advance. Go across the river real quick to play the Jackson Prep Patriots, and as you know, Russ, it's probably J Prep in one semifinal and MRA and Prep.
Yep.
MRA and Hartfield and others, and we'll see how it all plays out.
Should be a good one, Tommy. That was a good one tonight. Congratulations on the effort, and I don't think they're done yet. I wouldn't put all the equipment up yet. And by the way, I heard a rumor today that this was Jan Sojourner's last year's basketball coach over there with the girls.
Yeah, Russ. After 40 years is a long time to do anything, but man, she's the GOAT. She's done a lot of wonders for the girls basketball program at Jackson Academy. You never want to be the person to follow the person, because she leaves really big shoes to fill.
She does. She really does. Great person too. Hey, Tommy, thanks for the call. We will talk to you next week after that ball game.
All right, bud. Talk to you soon.
All righty. Thanks, man.
Tommy Upton, hang on and let me get him. Whoa.
Got
Fingers
him.
punched and you're there.
You've got to be tired, my man.
Yeah, I do think you got some bad information. There was no overtime. So
no overtime.
Okay. Yes, no overtime. 27-20 in regulation.
Okay.
But it felt like it was 11 overtime. It was not one of those games. But in reality, it was no overtime. 27-20 in regulation. It was a grudge match. We knew Knight. We played him last year. Played a really good, George County team last year and beat them. And we knew what we were up against tonight. And he's everything that he's cracked up to be. Really, really good quarterback. We contained him tonight to 20 points. 5 sacks by the Maroon Tide defense. I'll just give you a little bit of summary here in the fourth quarter. It gets 13-13 at half. Both teams missed a field goal, an extra point in the first half. 13-13. Pickens supposed to get the second half kickoff. We called for the fair catch on the kickoff, but we made a crucial mistake. We actually forgot to catch the ball after you make the fair catch. And so George County steals the possession coming out of halftime. They score quickly. They go up 20-13. Tide comes back. They score. They tie it up. We battle back and forth all through the third quarter. Get into the fourth quarter. We go ahead 27-20. We kicked back off of them with about 4 minutes to go, if I remember correctly. George County drives down the field. They end up getting first and goal from the 4 and tied. Then they have second and goal from the 1-inch line. Freshman linebacker steps in the hole on third down, tackle for loss of 6 yards, and then on fourth down they go for fourth and goal, from the 15, and we sack Deuce Knight. Thrown down, and we're able to run the clock out on the following possession. So big night defensively. We actually thought it was going to be a shootout. We were thinking it's going to be one of those 60-58 games, but it was far from it. Really a defensive struggle. We asked a lot of people to play both ways tonight. Darrell Smith played over 100 snaps offensively and defensively. So just a big night. A lot of heart by this Maroonside defense.
Thank you, Tommy. We got to run. We got to take a break, but congratulations on the win. Go get you some rest.
Hey, roll tide. Thanks, guys.
We will step aside. More of Friday Night Under the Lights coming up.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
Mississippi football families, have you thought about how you're going to tackle student loan debt? Don't do it on your own. Pass the ball to State Treasurer David McRae and his College Savings Mississippi team today. With College Savings Mississippi, you can lock in today's tuition rate, prepay college, and avoid student loan debt altogether. Don't let your finances get sacked because you didn't invest in your child's education. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more today. See your name and file your claim. Even the smallest counties in Mississippi usually have thousands of people whose names are on the unclaimed money list at the Mississippi State Treasury. That's right. Many counties even have tens of thousands of names listed, totaling tens of millions in unclaimed dollars. Since he's been state treasurer, David McRae has returned a record $80 million to Mississippians who've searched the list, found their names, and staked their claim. About 1 in 10 Mississippians have unclaimed money, and that's why you should check www.treasury.ms.gov or click on Unclaimed Money and search today. If you see your name, file your claim. If it's your money, Treasurer David McRae will get it back to you.
I was spending too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
I was spending too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. Yeah!
Hello, Russ. We've got a couple callers on the phone. We've got Ray Coleman and Harold to talk about pedal. You ready to talk to Ray?
Oh, are we going with Ray? Then are we going Harold first?
We'll go Harold first and then to Ray. Here you go. Here's Harold.
Well, first of all, Harold, I know you're excited about tonight, but I got to tell you about last night, okay?
Okay, buddy.
I'm in Pedal last night, trick-or-treating with my grandsons, okay?
Okay.
The little 5-year-old I've been telling you about? He was going to go out as a Pedal Panther football player, but they couldn't find a helmet big enough for his head. So he is coming to play, and his brother is too. But that's years from now, and you and I hope you and I are around. But tonight, zoom up to tonight, big win for you guys.
Yes, big win for us tonight. It means a lot. I'm looking at the standings now, and they've got us and Oak Grove at tied for second. But the scenario is the winner of that ball game next week would probably end up being number 2, and the loser would be number 3.
So, and you're talking about the Panthers playing Oak Grove?
Right, next Thursday.
It's next Thursday. What do you think about Thursday high school football?
I kind of like it in a way, but Friday nights is really, the atmosphere is there, but
right.
It's a short time for them to get ready. But that bunch out there that coaches this squad, they'll get them ready.
They've got that program turned around, don't they?
Hey, Coach Bowles is something else. They are a great bunch of people to be around, and like I keep saying every week, for the Petal Panthers and for the community, this is a place that you would really want to bring your kids up at. I mean, I'm not cutting none of the other areas down, but, all the areas have great programs. But Petal has got a good football program, and everything is just that great about living in the city of Petal, Russ.
Well, I'm
hoping you're still going to show up next week.
Well, I'm going to try. I'll tell you this, because, like I said, I was there last night. Great community. Yeah. It always has been. But we always talk about Coach of the Years when we get down close to the part of the season. And so many times Coach of the Year wins it because they're undefeated or whatever, and I get that. But with what Marcus has done with this program and this team is Coach of the Year material, in my opinion. It's just been a huge turnaround.
It has been fantastic. I mean, the staff here, like I keep saying every Friday night for this staff, Matt and all of them, Matt Dillon and everybody, the supervisors and everybody, the council, everybody in this community, they are great. They are fantastic people to be around, and the atmosphere is just unreal right now for us to be 7-3, be in the playoffs. And it's like we said about a couple of weeks ago, you could see them probably sneaking in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's there, buddy. It's there to prove, you never know what's going to happen. It's just like they're a good ball club. They are a well-coached ball club. And like Jake said about Sam, yeah, Brandon's fantastic. And it could come down, to that. And I was looking at the coast standings. Now, that's going to be something, too, because next week down there, Biloxi and D'Iberville are tied for 3 and 4, because it looks like Ocean Springs is going to claim the top spot. And then Gulfport with that, it could be all kind of things on that coast, buddy.
It could be. And I tell you, that was a huge loss for Gulfport tonight.
Yes.
Yes. And that just kind of throw things into a tizzy. Harold, we're up against trying to get some folks in. I hope I see you next Thursday, and we'll see what the Panthers are able to do.
Yeah, just look me up. I'll be down somewhere around the field somewhere.
I'll get the PA announcer to call you up. Thanks, Harold. Have a great weekend.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, man.
Ray Coleman.
All right, Ray, you said you're going to give me a little bitty report about the Tupelo game and then talk about your game tonight.
That's right. Listen, I apologize for missing you guys last week. I was on the natural straight. 3 words to describe last week versus Tupelo. Oh, my goodness. That's how good those guys are. That's all that needs to be said. All right, they're the best team in 7-8 North, period.
But now, Ray, you've seen Brandon. You beat Brandon.
I have, man. Let me tell you, Brandon is solid. They're great. They're going to be there down the stretch run. 7-8 North, Tupelo Golden Wave, man. It's nothing like it. I don't want to see them again. I hope we make the playoffs, but I do not want to see the Golden Wave again.
I'm telling you what, that's what everybody says. All right, tonight you had a shootout.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man, it was quite the game, man. Both teams had a lot to play for. It was Germantown's last game of the year. They knew that they had to get a win to even be in contention for a playoff spot. Clinton could have clinched a playoff spot had they won. That didn't happen. 53-35 is the final. Clinton, at one point in the game, got it as close as 3 points. We thought we had a nice little run there late in the third quarter, but give credit to the Mavericks. They kind of locked back in and got back on that ground game with Branson and Nye Johnson. Those young men just honestly carried them to victory along with the quarterback, King White.
Well, you know, I got a chance to see King White play last year, and he's the real deal. I think is he a junior or a senior this year?
He's a junior. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that's
You're
what I
right.
thought.
He's the real deal. Listen, man, he made a couple of passes tonight where you had to just say, wow. I mean, just the spin that he put on it and
Yep.
the touch. He was dropping it right there in the bucket, and he's a mobile QB to add to it. Dual threat for sure, man. Germantown has now put everyone in a quandary if your name is not Tupelo for Madison. So I'll give you an example. Maybe the safest team is Madison Central. Starkville has one win. Well, we beat them, so we have that one win over them. When Germantown beat us, they have the one win over them. Starkville beat Germantown. So it's just a mess. I don't even want to act like I'm the smart guy in the room and tell you how this works. It's probably going to come down to point differential. We face Madison Central on Thursday. That will show up a couple of things. If we win, we're going. But that's a huge if, man. It's a huge rivalry game. We'll be at home, so we'll see how it plays out.
Boy, that you said that's a Thursday game, right?
That's Thursday night, 7 o'clock.
What do you think about Thursday night high school football?
You know, for me, it's fine. I'll call a game any day of the week. For the young men, it's a 1 day shorter. But, you know, at this time of the year, you know what you need to be doing.
Right.
And I think it gives them an extra edge, an extra sense of urgency to know that this could be, if you're a senior, this could be your last moment playing high school football. So you better be all in if you plan on making it to the postseason.
All right, Ray Coleman, voice of the Clinton Arrows. We appreciate it. Be safe getting home tonight, and we will talk to you. Call us next Friday about the game on Thursday.
I'll do it. We'll make it happen, guys.
Thanks,
so
Ray.
much.
Ray Coleman, voice of the Clinton Arrows. Before we go to break, we don't have time to go to break.
No. Just no calls. Right?
Yeah, it's okay. We got time to go to get some scores
Yes,
in.
absolutely.
Okay, good.
All right, let me give you some scores. We will be a traditionalist, and we'll give you Friday night scores on Friday night. Biloxi defeated Harrison Central 30-23. Brandon, of course, over Meridian 42-14. Warren Central beat Callaway 45-6. As mentioned, Germantown beat Clinton 53-35. Horn Lake beat DeSoto Central 26-20. South Jones over Florence 23-17. It was Gaucher 35, Stone 6. Picayune over George County 27-20. Ocean Springs defeated Gulfport 20-3. It was Hattiesburg beating Terry 28-14. Jefferson County 46, Wesson 34. New Hope over Lafayette 42-7. Oxford shut out Lewisburg 43-0. Brookhaven beat North Pike 38-6. Oak Grove 41, Pearl 13, South Panola over Olive Branch 42-14. Petal doubled up Northwest Rankin 20-10. Macomb shut out Raymond 42-0. DeIberville shut out St. Martin 49-0. Shannon over Amory 51-26. And Madison Central beat Starkville 31-8.
Yeah, we're going to get a report on that one. Brandon Shields will be calling in the second hour. We got a lot coming your way in the second hour, and want you to stay with us as we head toward the midnight hour here on Friday night. Under the lights. We're right here. Tonight's show made possible by State Treasurer David McRae and his two college savings program and also the unclaimed money program. Both are two programs you're going to want to know about. We'll take a time out. Back in a moment.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
Commercial roofing, reliable and durable solutions for your business. Residential roofing, protecting your home with quality craftsmanship. Metal walls, custom designs for a modern look. Emergency services. Rapid response to protect your property.
After a recent hailstorm, I needed a total roof replacement. I chose Malone Roofing for the job, and my new roof looks great.
Contact us today for a free inspection. Visit www.ecmalone.com or call 1-833-7-MALONE.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
I volunteer at a bunny rescue, and with Cricket, my bill is consistent.
Wait, this is huge! A new offer, 5G for 15. You heard it here first. 5G plans starting at $15 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Hello, Mississippi. Did you know that the average student graduates college with $30,000 worth of debt? That amount of debt can delay major life milestones, including getting married, buying a home, and starting a family. But don't worry, we've got some good news for you tonight. College Savings Mississippi and Treasurer David McRae can help you reduce or eliminate that debt. Their plans are flexible and affordable. Start saving for as little as $25 today. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
Cricket gives me the coverage I need at a really fair price.
Stop! This came all the way from the top. New offer, 5G plan starting at $15 a month. Let's go! Smile, you're on Cricket.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Russ Robinson along with George Broadstreet, Chris Saxon, our producer. Is Abram back there he's producing for MPB?
Yes, he
is. Abram, and he's back. He's back there. He's got a black screen, and they got a black screen over Ty Bailey. He's answering the phones for us. But I assure you, they're there. And a big thanks to Abram for filling in for Ty.
And we have a caller coming on. I just can't tell you who the name is yet because they're talking to Ty.
Well,
he has an interview with them before we do.
That's right. It's the interview after the interview. But, by the way, if you want to call in and be a part of tonight's show, 877-672-7464. And we like people to call in and tell us about their team and about their game. And, unfortunately, a lot of these teams are done.
Yeah, some of them are, that's for sure. Let me give you a few more scores while we're waiting for that call to come on.
Okay.
Hartfield over Jackson Academy, 28-17. Of course, it was Jackson Prep over Madison St. Joe, 56-12. MRA won tonight, 49-17 over PCS. Wayne County defeated Laurel 20-6. Pascagoula over West Harrison, 28-20. And West Point beat Pontotoc 34-14.
Do you remember the years that Wayne County ran off a couple of state championships?
Yes, I sure do. That was a big win for them beating Laurel, but that's just their third win of the year.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
So, Ansley's replacement is on
that. No, it's not the
McCoskey.
Javon McCoskey.
Okay, here you go.
Javon, are you with us?
Yes, sir. It's Jevin.
Jevin. I was sitting there going,
this right.
Is it Javon or is it Jevin? It's when Ainsley.
Every time somebody messed it up, I'd be rich.
Well, Ainsley texted me and told me you were going to be on, and she failed to put the accent on the first part of your name there. But anyway, we're glad you're with us. You're the sports director down there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, how are you enjoying covering football on the coast this year?
So I'm from Indiana, so I tell everybody that the way that football is treated down here is the way we treat basketball up in the Midwest, especially Indiana. So it's like a religion down here, so I love it.
Well, and I tell you what, they're treating football that way up there this year, but that's the story for another night.
Yeah.
Who did you cover tonight?
So I had the chance. I only made it to one game, but as a sports team, we made it to 6 different games tonight. But myself, I was at George County and Picayune.
Ooh, what a tough game that was. Is Deuce Knight the real deal to you?
Oh yeah, I mean I've had the chance to cover him 4 or 5 times this year throughout the season. He had a hamstring injury, was out 3 weeks, but I think I've been at every game that he started under center. He is as good as advertised. Deserves every bit of the 5-star rating. Struggled a little bit tonight, but that was more so to do with his offensive line and the Picayune defensive line. Nolan Wilson is a player. He's only he's an underclassman who has every offer under the book now from the SEC. He just got to the quarterback. Just couldn't do anything. He had no time.
Wow. Let me get your take on something, because I've heard tonight, and I hear a lot during the week of these younger players that are juniors and sophomores already getting commitment letters from different schools. You think that's good or bad this early?
I mean, if putting myself in their shoes, the sooner you can hear from coaches, the more it makes you feel, the quicker it makes you realize that you can play at the next level. And maybe you don't take it as seriously whenever you aren't getting those letters or those coaches aren't calling you. And as soon as they do, maybe you start to realize, okay, like I can make a living for myself at the next level. So I think it's great. If they could reach out even earlier, it would be even cooler. In my opinion, I think it's great. And I know I've talked to some of the kids in our area that we cover that have gotten these offers at a young age, and they all have great heads on their shoulders, and they do a great job with taking it and not getting a big head and just putting their head down actually and working. That's
the big thing about it, is keeping your head. All right, one of the teams down there, or two teams I want to talk to you about real quickly. Number one, Ocean Springs has been riding under the radar all season long. And I kept telling everybody back in August, don't write this team or this program off, because they'll get it together down there and they'll make a run. And then secondly is Gulfport, which took one on the chin tonight, which kind of messes up that whole division up there. Talk to me about those two teams.
Yeah, so those two teams played each other tonight, and the winner took home the regional title for our class here down in this, for the 7A class down here in this area. Ocean Springs, people might have put them under the radar just because of the tough schedule they played at the beginning of the year that got them off to 0-4 start. But ever since they started playing teams within their region, everybody kind of knew, like, hey, once region play starts, this team's going to turn it on, and it's going to be hard to turn it off once they get to that point. Sherrod Whitehead is you could put him anywhere on the field. The last couple of weeks, he's played quarterback, but he's lined up at running back. He's taken snaps as wide receiver. He can do just about everything on a football field for them. And if he gets it going, they're hard to stop. And they have a massive offensive line too. So they dominate up front on offense. And when Sherrod's doing his thing, they're hard to beat. And that's evident within the last couple of weeks as they've won these games. But when I look at taking a look at Gulfport, that's just a tough game. I think every year there's a game where you kind of take it on the chin, and this just happens to be, unfortunately, that game for them this year. Yeah. I mean, they defeated Picayune, who's on a six-game winning streak at this point. Their last loss was to Gulfport. So it's one of those things. And this game had a lot of emotion to it because the Gulfport head coach used to be the head coach at Ocean Springs. So I think there's a lot of emotion that was riding into this game, and Ocean Springs just so happened to come out on top.
Well, and D'Iberville got a win, I think, tonight, and they've been kind of rebuilding over there, hadn't they?
Yeah. So this is my first season getting a chance to see D'Iberville with my own eyes, but I have heard that yes, they have been rebuilding. But I mean, they completely dominated tonight, 49-0. D'Iberville's a team. Gaucher's another team who's finished 8-1 as the regular season comes to an end. There's so much talent here, but yes, D'Iberville is a team that was supposed to be rebuilding, and now they're taking wins and winning by 49 points.
Well, you're covering the Gulf Coast down there, and of course there's great football up in the north, and there's really solid football in the middle of the state, and you're in a state now where high school football is king.
High school football means everything. That's our saying here at WXXV.
All right. Hey, good job for filling in for Ainsley Brent tonight. She said we probably didn't want to hear her coughing for 3 minutes, so but we appreciate you stepping in and look forward to having you back in again on the show sometime.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All righty. Okay. George, you got some scores here?
Yeah, one I had not given you before, and by the way, that was a good report.
Yeah, it was a good report.
Enjoyed hearing from him, and it's kind of important we hear from people that cover areas of the state that we may not get to see as much. But Neshoba Central defeated Ridgeland 23-7. That was the final there. Mentioned that D'Iberville score. They beat St. Martin 49-0. Let me see some others that I have not given you recently. West Point defeated Pontotoc 34-14. Pascagoula over West Harrison 28-20. Let's see. I've got a few others here. Centerville Academy, this is a 4A playoff MAIS score. Centerville Academy 34, Washington School 7. It was North Delta over Carroll 35-0. That was a 3A playoff game. Some other 5A playoff games. Copiah Academy defeated Starkville 36-7, and Simpson Academy over Heritage 47-21. And one other 8-man score, and you always love these.
Yes, sir.
Is it Tensas? That's the way you pronounce
yes,
it. Tensas defeated Kemper 62-34.
I know we were at Kemper 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
For our Crazy Eights. Great people over there, and really enjoyed being on their campus. So we'll have another Crazy Eight report tonight and talk about playoffs and such that are coming up. All right, Chris.
Jared Schatz.
Jared, I'm going to tell you what. You have been saying all season long that this was a really solid football team, and it seems like you saved the best for last.
Yeah, guys, good to talk to you tonight. We were just waiting on that game for it to all come together. 53-35, we get the big win tonight. And it was a weird ball game because I know Ray was talking about the playoff scenario, and look, Clinton's a heck of a ball club. If you're going to get the Arrows, you better get them early because Coach Carr and the Arrows, they are awfully good, and this is the time to get after them. But we get the win tonight. But back to that playoff scenario, it was one of those where not only did we have to win the ball game, that was number one, we had to win the game to have a playoff hope to keep it alive. The second part of that is we had the scoreboard watch, which is kind of ironic because all the coaches always say you can't tell the kids or the team to watch the scoreboard.
Right.
We were watching it tonight. We were actually rooting for Starkville to beat Madison Central. They did not. When that happened, we had to beat the Arrows. Not only just win the ball game, we had to win by 11. And it went back and forth for a while where even though we were up in the ball game, we never got down in it. It felt like we were losing because it was a 3-point deficit for the Arrows. So with that, what it comes down to next week is if Madison Central beats the Arrows, we are in. If Clinton wins, they are in as the 4 seed. So that's what it comes down to. But hats off to Coach Mitchell and crew. We really thought if this team could get healthy, that was the thing. We went into the district schedule, the gauntlet at 5-1. We were not healthy. That was the problem. Starkville whipped us. We hung with Tupelo for a while. You know, we had a heartbreaking loss to Madison Central last week, and all of a sudden we're 0-3. I was wondering, can this team rebound from such an emotional loss against Madison Central? They were able to do that tonight.
You know, you hadn't had the easiest schedule in the world either.
It's brutal, guys. I'm telling you, you have to hold on to every play when you get into 7A football. And District 2 along with District 3, you know, I don't know which one's better, but I don't think you can lose either way. It's awfully competitive.
Would you buy a ticket to see Brandon play Tupelo?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, you're not going to have to do that because you're carrying the championship games on MPB. Now, both have to get there. That's obvious. But it looks like both of them are playing their best football right now.
Oh, I tell you, that's a collision course waiting to happen. But, you know, as Jake said, you never know this level of football, anything can happen. You're talking about buying a ticket to that ball game. Listen to this. I may have to go buy a ticket and root for Madison Central next week. How bad is that as a Germantown Maverick?
Now, that wouldn't happen again in 100 years.
That's right. After that heartbreaking loss, we all of a sudden have to be big Jaguar fans next week. I said on the broadcast, guys, it's kind of like the NCAA bubble, you know, for basketball. We're going to be sitting at the house and hoping our bubble doesn't get burst next week.
Well, we want to hear from you after that one. Is that a Thursday night game?
I believe it is a Thursday night game, supposed to be senior night for the Arrows. And look, we all know, we've watched this for a long time. When Madison Central and the Arrows get together, anything can happen. There's no love lost there. And how weird will it be? You'll see a bunch of Maverick fans on the Jaguar side. It should be interesting.
It should be a good one. We'll look forward to talking to you next Friday, my friend.
Have a great weekend, guys.
All right, Jared. Thanks a lot. Jared Schatz, voice of the Mavericks of Germantown.
Joseph Craven.
Joseph, big win over JA tonight. Tell you what, give credit where credit is due. JA defense pretty good.
Man, you aren't kidding. And look, I knew going into the season it was a team that needed to kind of reestablish an identity. And I think Coach Duggan at JA has absolutely proved he's the man to do that. He's a guy that's building something there. I remember a couple of weeks ago you asked Tommy Barnett if he thought it was a four-horse race for the championship this season, and he said not quite. And
he
probably
recanted
another
tonight.
year before that.
He recanted tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, he said another year, and I'm like, well, yeah, if they're not right up there next year, I'd be shocked. You know, they're really establishing something. That is a quality squad and clearly building something good there.
All right, so Hartfield wins tonight, and, you know, it looked like, well, first of all, Tapper did play. Is that correct?
Yes, he did. He was late in the game against Jackson Prep 2 weeks ago. I think he actually rolled his ankle a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching the replay of that game last week, and I remember exactly when it happened. And so he was just kind of nursing that last week and was in there and looking good tonight, looked comfortable in the pocket. Did take some big hits, which, you know, fans are looking at and going, well, we didn't want to see that when he's just coming back from an injury.
True.
But he's a tough dude.
He really is. Now, set up the playoff scenario for me right quick.
Yeah, so with that, of course, as I know you jokingly mentioned earlier in the show as well, the joke there being that this was the battle to not have to deal with Prep in the playoffs. Jackson Prep securing, you know, the number 1 seed going into the 6A playoffs, MRA the 2 seed, so they're on opposite sides. With Hartfield winning tonight, they locked in the number 3 and will face Madison St. Joe next week at Community Bank Field in Flowood. And then winner of that will go to play 2-seed MRA. And on the other side of that, of course, is Jackson Academy and PCS going up against each other with the unenviable task of taking on the Jackson Prep Patriots at Jackson Prep in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So either way, you're looking at most likely, if things play out the way, you know, we expect with the seeding, it will be Prep JA, MRA Hartfield, and those right there are 2 marquee matchups.
Oh, yeah.
They just are. Those are absolutely, and on top of that, Jackson Academy is looking like a completely different team here at the end of the regular season compared to the matchup against Prep in the regular season. However long ago that was, it feels like another lifetime at this point.
Well, look, man, good game tonight, and congratulations. The playoffs are going to be something else. I totally agree with you. We're going to step aside and take a break. We will talk to you next week because you'll be playing.
Yep, absolutely. We'll be in action one final time at home.
All right, Joseph. Thanks so much.
And when we come back, we'll have Granny and John Weaver on the phone.
Very good.
If the money's yours, you should have it. That's why State Treasurer David McRae has returned a record $80 million in unclaimed money to Mississippians. And there's hundreds of millions more, maybe with your name on it. Check the list. Visit www.treasury.ms.gov and see if you have any of the unclaimed money. Each year, banks, utilities, businesses, brokers, and insurance companies turn over millions of dollars to the state because they're not sure who is entitled to the funds. Treasurer McRae has an entire unclaimed money staff waiting to take your claim and return your money. Check the list today. Treasury.ms.gov. Mississippi football families, have you thought about how you're going to tackle student loan debt? Don't do it on your own. Pass the ball to State Treasurer David McRae and his College Savings Mississippi team today. With College Savings Mississippi, you can lock in today's tuition rate, prepay college, and avoid student loan debt altogether. Don't let your finances get sacked because you didn't invest in your child's education. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more today.
Trusted by homeowners and businesses across the Southeast. Commercial roofing, reliable and durable solutions.
And we're back, Russ. Let's talk to Granny.
All right. Granny, where'd you wind up tonight?
I was at Pearl, Golden Pearl.
Talk to me about the Pearl offense.
Pearl offense was pretty good tonight. They made some good play calling on offense. They made some good plays with the, passing game was pretty good. Running game wasn't bad, but in the second half they didn't have the same intensity that they had.
Well, and they're playing without their quarterback, who's been out for the season.
Yeah.
And but I think they're playing well, even though he's not in there. But I'm assuming you enjoyed watching that one.
Yeah, I did. That was awesome. The Oak Grove quarterback made some good plays, good throws over the top. And, but the thing about Pearl, they didn't need halftime.
They lost the momentum.
Didn't need it. Hey, that 20-minute delay, that 20-minute break hurt them. If they just kept playing, they'd have been okay tonight.
Well, Brian, let me ask you this. A lot of people are still scratching their head about Oak Grove. They don't know exactly, and of course they're obviously good, and they've always been good. But a lot of people are wondering if they are good enough to make it to that final game this year. What do you think?
Well, Brandon, they are everybody on their team is bad. And I just don't believe everybody on those teams can run them like that. So that's what the challenge they're going to have. Can they keep up with Brandon's speed?
Yeah.
I don't think they can. Russ.
Well, they can throw the ball down there at Oak Grove. That's right. What they do. But you're exactly right. And that when it comes down to it in high school so many times, that is one of the key factors in being able to win or lose a ball game is speed. We see it week in and week out. These running backs hit that corner and they take off up the field. And, if you've got that speed, you can win a lot of games.
Yeah, and the DBs, they intercept passes and just take off with it. You can't bring them down. They're so fast.
That's true.
I mean, on Brandon's team, there's no slowpokes.
Nope.
There's no slowpokes on that team. And I just can't see Oak Grove keeping up with their speed. Hey, they might fool me. I don't know.
Well, you know what?
We've
seen strange things happen in the playoffs around here, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. We're going to see some strange things this year, too.
I think you're absolutely right. Well, Granny, we appreciate you giving us the skinny on that ball game. I'm sure you enjoyed it. And we'll look forward to talking to you next week, wherever you're going to be.
All right. See you, man. Thank you.
All righty.
John Weber.
Well, John, are you coming up 49 right now?
No, I'm home, man. No, we were at home tonight. So.
Oh, that's right. You were at home tonight. Okay. Is this a tune-up game, right?
I mean, I don't know what you mean, a tune-up game.
For the playoffs.
Last regular season, it was homecoming, came away with a 49-17 victory. You always, I don't even want to say tune-up's a good word, but I think you got to get some stuff gelling back going into the playoffs, especially after the tough loss last week. You kind of got to get the train back on the track, if you will.
Right.
Getting you set up, and then you have the bye week, and then you play what everybody probably thinks in the whole 6A will be Hartfield, and then you got to get ready for that. So you got 2 weeks to get ready for an opponent, and man, it's one of those. It's here, and I heard Joseph talking about how it felt like forever ago when the J prep matchup. I think just the opposite. This season has flown by. Herbert and I were talking about how I remember being 7-on-7 at Mississippi State like it was yesterday. So, I mean, my goodness.
Well, it has flown by, and I think it's because there have been so many good games, and you just got to get up week in and week out. And, let's not forget this PCS team is in the playoffs, and I think they'll play JA? No.
I think so. I don't know, honestly, to be honest with you.
Joseph kind of went over that. Let me ask you this about tonight's game. Stockett back in the saddle tonight. What kind of game did he have?
Yeah, it was a great game. We started out, running some RPOs and getting the ball out of his hands quick, and getting to our quick game, and then took some shots when we did, and then established a little bit of a running game. But that's what you want to get going. We talked about being in rhythm going into the playoffs, going into this bye week, and kind of getting your momentum back for hopefully a 2-game stretch. You win the semis and then you go play, but you have 3 weeks to prepare for 2 or 2 weeks to prepare for 1. Depends on if you know what you do. But it was a good, solid win tonight. PCS much improved. There's some things that they do defensively that's really well, and their number 2 for them was playing lights out tonight. I don't know that young man's name, but he played lights out. So at one point it was 21-10, and we pulled away. But and you expect that. JA's playing better. Those things. I mean, once you start finding your identity, you're going to play well. And PCS has a lot to play for. This is their last year in the association.
That's right.
They want to go out with on a good note, have a good showing before they make that jump to the MHSAA. But kudos to our guys tonight of bouncing back off of a heartbreaking loss last week. That was for the conference championship. They got the number 1 seed. But I'll tell you that, like we said before, I think 3 weeks ago, it's just for seeding. Somebody's going to be the one, somebody's going to be the 2, they're going to survive. But if you look at how Hartfield and JA are now, I mean, those are 2 marquee matchups.
Yep, I agree. I was really impressed with your wide receiver, Thomas, last week.
Oh, Case Thomas, yeah. He's Mike. Mike Espy's done a tremendous job with him, taking over and me going to the running backs. But Mike has added another level to them with their releases and adding that NFL flair that's making them even better. It's really fun to watch Case do some things on another level. The releases and how he gets back stacked on defensive backs and plays he had to make. There's one ball I wish he would have made. Catch on, and he was wide open.
Wide open.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, I'm so open, I don't want to mess it up, and he did, but he bounced back tonight. He came to the sideline, and I asked him this week, I was like, can you see? Like, do you need to go get contacts? He's like, I'm just going to take my visor off. So he took his visor off, and he came to the sideline, he goes, I think I got my eyes back. I said, well, good.
Well, he's a great kid.
Him and Will Bezot are going to be 2 key guys for us as we go down the stretch.
Boy, I think you're right. It's Bezot, he just gets open. He just gets, and he's got great hands when he does. I guess I'll see you maybe Monday, as I'll be on the campus over there for a little basketball. So kind of hard to believe that's starting, but y'all have a little tournament over there, so I'll see you there.
Yeah, the Madison Madness kicks off on the girls' side of things. So, basketball's in full swing. And it's good to know when, I'm speaking for the 4A, the 5A, and even us, when basketball's starting to hit in our association, the playoffs are right around the corner for football.
That's right. That's right.
Exciting times in November.
Well, it should be interesting down the stretch, John, and we appreciate you giving us this call tonight, and congratulations on the win, and we'll see where we go from here.
That's it. Thanks, Russ, and thanks again for Funnell and what y'all do for high school athletics and coaches and players all around the state. Appreciate y'all so much.
Thanks, John. Thank you. All right, we got a couple minutes here before we go to break. Any late breaking scores?
Well, I don't know if these are late breaking, but I'll give you a few that we may have given you earlier, but are worth repeating. South Panola defeated Olive Branch 42-14. Petal mentioned beat Northwest Rankin 20-10. Macomb beat Raymond 42-0. It was South Delta over McEvans or Shaw 24-12. Madison Central defeated Starkville 31-8. East Central 28, Van Cleve 26. Wayne County over Laurel 20-6. West Harrison, actually Pascagoula, beat West Harrison by the score of 28-20. It was New Hope beating Lafayette 42-7. Oxford over Lewisburg 43-0. These are all games played on Friday night. South Jones defeated Florence 23-17. Gaucher over Stone 35-6. Ocean Springs in really somewhat of an upset. The Ocean Springs had gotten off to really kind of a tough start, but they've kind of gotten things back together in the last couple of weeks. But they defeated Gulfport 20-3 tonight. And Hattiesburg, can't say it enough for Mike, but Hattiesburg beat Terry 28-14.
Yeah, and everybody's talking, about Tupelo, Brandon, and all this. Very, very quietly, the Tigers, I believe they're the number 2 team in the state. Depending on what poll you look at.
They're 9-0 now.
Yeah.
Of course, they're a 6A school, but they're a strong 6A.
Boy, they are. Coach Tony does an outstanding job down there. Hopefully, we'll have Coach Vance on next week, and we'll be able to talk to him about the Tigers and also the upcoming All-Star games, which I'll talk about when we come back in our Crazy Eights section tonight, made possible by Cricket Wireless. Smile, you're on Cricket. We'll be back.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
Mississippi football families, have you thought about how you're going to tackle student loan debt? Don't do it on your own. Pass the ball to State Treasurer David McRae and his College Savings Mississippi team today. With College Savings Mississippi, you can lock in today's tuition rate, prepay college, and avoid student loan debt altogether. Don't let your finances get sacked because you didn't invest in your child's education. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more today. 1 in 10 Mississippians has unclaimed money awaiting claim at the state treasury. There's literally hundreds of millions of dollars waiting to be united with the rightful owner. At www.treasury.ms.gov to search, you'll see your name and stake your claim by following these instructions. You'll be asked for some basic ID like a copy of your license or a government-issued ID, then hit send. Treasurer David McRae has a dedicated unclaimed money team awaiting your claim, ready to return your money. Don't wait. Look for your name and stake your claim today. www.treasury.ms.gov.
Commercial roofing, reliable and durable solutions for your business. Residential roofing, protecting your home with quality craftsmanship. Metal walls, custom designs for a modern look. Emergency services, rapid response to protect your property.
After a recent hailstorm, I needed a total roof replacement. I chose Malone Roofing for the job, and my new roof looks great.
Contact us today for a free inspection. Visit www.ecmalone.com or call 1-833-7-MALONE.
I was spending too much money in 5G.
Commercial roofing, reliable and durable solutions for your business.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Russ Robinson here along with George Broadstreet and Chris Saxon, our producer, Ty Bailey on the phone. And by the way, we mentioned, well, in fact, Dr. Dave Shows, who is our IT guru, listening tonight in Boone, North Carolina, which I'm sure is a lot cooler than we have tonight. But they got internet back up there. You know, we talked to him a couple of weeks ago after the hurricane went through there, and he said that they were able to keep the internet for the most part up and running, but the week after that they didn't have. He couldn't get us the score ticker. He's got that up there tonight, and if you're watching on Funnel.com, or just spell it out, FridayNightUnderTheLights.com, or you can watch it on Roku or Fire Stick, Facebook and YouTube. I mean, we've been doing this thing a long time, George. I can't remember a time in our existence when so many people had so many different devices they could go to listen or watch.
Yeah.
And then you got MPB on all that, dude.
Yeah, it's confusing to me. It's confusing, but I mean, there's all kind of options available for sure.
Well, and I had several people this week say, how do I find the MPB station? I tell people just go as far as left as you can and hit scan, and you'll find it.
Right.
And so, we thank all those that call. We thank these guys for giving these reports, and of course, it all is going to culminate with the state championships, which are the first weekend in December down at the University of Southern Mississippi. And then the weekend after that, we'll have the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star Game, of which Friday Night Under the Lights is the producer and of that ball game.
Is that in Montgomery this year?
It is in Mobile this year.
Oh, okay.
They University of South Alabama.
That's right.
Which has a new football facility over there.
Okay.
They have hosted it and did a great job, and so we'll travel over there, and our gang will produce it, and I think folks are going to enjoy it. And then the following week, we'll be in Gulfport at Milner Stadium. You ever been to Milner Stadium?
I've not.
It's in Gulfport,
yeah,
home of the Admirals, but it's back when they had the cement steps, for stands. But those people must have been 7 feet tall, right, Chris? I mean, Chris and I have to have a cane or something to get up those stairs. Yeah. But it's a festive atmosphere, and of course it's the week before Christmas, and cricket will be there, and state of Mississippi will be there, and so it should be a lot of fun. And this year you get to. How many times have I heard? Well, I thought the All-Star game was good, but if this kid would have played, or the Miss Al game is great, but if this kid had been chosen. Well, this year, you get a chance to do that. And you go and vote. You can vote for one on the north, one on the south for the Blackwell All-Star game. And they can't change the number on the Miss Al game. I mean, that one's set. So this is for the Bernard Blackwell game.
Okay.
And, that Bernard Blackwell game's had some big-time players playing. I remember one year, Gardner Minshew played in that ball game.
Yeah, I mean, going back, year and years ago, people like Archie Manning played in that game.
That's right. And Alabama's had a lot of guys play on the Miss Al game.
Right.
And so is Mississippi. I mean, we produce as many as they do in college. And so it's just, it kind of wraps up the year. I think Jared Schatz and his crew are going to do an outstanding job on calling these games, championship games on radio. And the nice thing about that is, the day games, you get to listen to it in your car. I think productivity among the men in state will be kind of down the last part of that week. So be listening to MPB and listen to those ball games. But Jared Schatz, who we just got off film with over at Germantown, will head that up, and he has an all-star cast of guys to call those games, and it should be a lot of fun. Ben Ingram comes in sometimes. Remember Ben?
Sure.
And Ben's now with the
Atlanta
Braves.
Yeah.
And so Ben Ingram's going to come in and call a couple games, and it's always good to see Ben. And so it's just a great week. So after that week, you've got the All-Stars, the Miss Al, and then you've got the Bernard Blackwell. And then that will wrap up high school football. And it's hard to believe that you're talking about a month from now, pretty much.
Yeah, a lot's going to happen in the next month for sure.
Now, the Crazy Eights are going to have, they're already into their playoffs. And, their playoffs will be at, I believe it's at JA, their championship game.
Yeah, I'm not sure the timing of it.
Well, we'll get that the closer they get. But next week, I'm planning on being on the road with the JA, with the Crazy 8 Game of the Week, and Christopher Jones, who is the Vice President of Marketing there for Cricket Wireless, is going to be with us over there. Okay. And so it should be a lot of fun. I don't know where we're going yet, and but I'll be there, and they're just a lot of fun to watch. Those the 8-man games. Those kids, man, they have to hustle.
Yeah, they sure do, and we've talked about it over and over, but. A lot of territory to cover, and kind of makes for interesting games and makes for some wild scores.
Yeah, it does.
Typically wild scores.
Well, and so we'll follow that. We'll have 2 more Crazy 8 reports from the games. We actually ended our coverage of it this week, but Cricket Wireless was not able to make it the week. They had the week off, and also last week. They couldn't make it, so we're going to extend that 2 weeks for them and have that report, and it's winding down. You mentioned the score tonight on 8-man, which kind of surprised me, and that was Tallulah lost tonight.
Yeah, the report we had was that Marvel Academy beat Tallulah 70-62.
Wow!
I mean, that's the report that we had. Tallulah was 7-3 going into that game. Marvel was only 2-8, so. Anyway, I'm not sure about that one, but
so that means Marvel continues in the playoffs.
Yeah, I would say so.
Marvel from Arkansas or Louisiana?
I think this is the Arkansas version.
That's what I think it is. Mm-hmm. Won't be at that one next week. There'll be some others. You know who we didn't hear from tonight? Do you have a Tri-County score?
I don't think they played.
Oh, okay. That's right. I think they were off this week.
Yes, they had a bye this week.
That's right. And Cliff Parker was going to call us and kind of set up that playoff scenario.
Yeah, that was another thing, and we really didn't mention. We talked about all the Thursday night games, but just looking down this list, and let me see if Will's got a tally here. How many open dates there were? Yeah, there's like 48 schools that had an open date.
Just an open date on the schedule?
Yeah, well, I mean, either they're qualified for the playoffs, but they didn't have to play, or, some of them did have a bye week. Tupelo had a bye week. It just fell very late in the season.
Would you rather have that bye in the middle or the end?
I kind of like the fact that it would be at the end because, you got to figure you're getting a little bit banged up a little bit.
Yeah.
Even if you're winning, maybe you're banged up a little bit. Maybe you have an extra week off. Kind of like prep. Prep's got an extra week off next week to kind of get ready.
Yep.
And it's going to be really interesting to see how that works out because, prep's now 10-0. They beat both Hartfield and MRA. Surprised that the margin of victory they beat MRA by. That's really going to be interesting, because it as you said, they're not going to have to play both of those schools,
right?
But they're going to have to play one of them again.
It's hard to beat that.
Hard
team.
to beat somebody twice.
Twice, it sure is. It sure is. All right, let's go over before we take our break. Let's go over the scores that you have. Catch everybody up.
Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of Thursday night scores because there was just so many games and there were some teams of interest. Greene County defeated Poplarville 49-28. Heidelberg won their 9th game of the year. They beat Collins 58-6. Sebastopol defeated J.Z. George 41-6. Jefferson Davis County defeated Bay Springs 32-0. MAIS over Richton 41-8. McGee won for the 9th time against no losses. They defeated Seminary 20-14. Clarkdale over Newton 35-0. And Northeast Jones defeated Mendenhall by the score of 30-0. Moving on to some Friday night scores of interest. Of course, Brandon beat Meridian 42-14. Warren Central beat Callaway 45-6. It was Choctaw County over Eupora 42-12. Corinth defeated Clarksdale 49-20. Germantown over Clinton 53-35. Biloxi over Harrison Central 30-23. Horn Lake over DeSoto Central 26-20. South Jones beat Florence 23-17. Gaucher 35, Stone 6, Picayune 27, George County 20. Ocean Springs over Gulfport 20-3. It was Hattiesburg 28, Terry 14, Jefferson County 46, Wesson 34, New Hope over Lafayette 42-7, Brookhaven over North Pike 38-6, Oak Grove 41, Pearl 13, South Panola 42, Olive Branch 14, Petal over Northwest Rankin 20-10. Let's see, Shannon over Amory 51-26. DeIverville shut out St. Martin 49-0. Madison Central 31, Starkville 8. South Delta over McEvans 24-12. Pascagoula 28, West Harrison 20. East Central over Van Cleve 28-26. West Point 34, Pontotoc 14. Some MAIS scores of interest. Jackson Prep over Madison St. Joe 56-12, and Hartfield Academy beat Jackson Academy 28-17.
All right, we're going to take our last break. This is the fastest 2 hours in sports radio now. Trust me on that. Going to take a break, and we'll be back to wrap up the show. Brandon Shields will join us, and he'll talk the game that he was at tonight, which was Madison Central and Starkville.
Okay. All right.
And I'm really anxious to hear about that one. Tonight's show being made possible by the folks at Malone Roofing. They're more than just roofers. They're a part of your community. We'll take a time out and be back with more in a moment.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones?
What? Nationwide coverage and lightning fast 5G?
Smile, you're on Cricket.
See your name and file your claim. Even the smallest counties in Mississippi usually have thousands of people whose names are on the unclaimed money list at the Mississippi State Treasury. That's right. Many counties even have tens of thousands of names listed, totaling tens of millions in unclaimed dollars. Since he's been state treasurer, David McRae has returned a record $80 million to Mississippians who've searched the list, found their names, and staked their claim. About 1 in 10 Mississippians have unclaimed money, and that's why you should check www.treasury.ms.gov or click on Unclaimed Money and search today. If you see your name, file your claim. If it's your money, Treasurer David McRae will get it back to you.
People who come to Cricket, stay with Cricket.
I volunteer at a bunny rescue, and with Cricket, my bill is consistent.
Wait, this is huge! A new offer, 5G for 15. You heard it here first. 5G plans starting at $15 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Hello, Mississippi. Did you know that the average student graduates college with $30,000 worth of debt? That amount of debt can delay major life milestones, including getting married, buying a home, and starting a family. But don't worry, we've got some good news for you tonight. College Savings Mississippi and Treasurer David McRae can help you reduce or eliminate that debt. Their plans are flexible and affordable. Start saving for as little as $25 today. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more.
Back to Friday night under the lights. Russ Robinson along with George Broadstreet and our cast of thousands. Well, actually, a little less than thousands, but they're in here. And Ty Bailey's here and Abrams here. So a lot of folks make up this show, and we do it every week. And headed now for next week to be week number 12 out of 15. So it's just flying by, and we're getting. As soon as the regular season is over, we'll be getting ready for the Miss Al game and the Bernard Blackwell game. I will tell you what, if you've never been to them, you just need to get in the car and go. I mean, it's we'll have it on where you'll be able to watch it, but there's just nothing like being there. And so if you get a chance, even if you don't have a dog in the fight, a lot of these kids have, you're going to want to see a guy like Deuce down at George County. You know, when the opposing team says how good he is,
Yeah.
he's good. He's good. All right, Brandon Shields was at Madison Central and Starkville, and he joins us now. And, you know, I know you've been helping Chris Brooks on the magazine. Where did you put these two teams back in August?
Back in August, Madison, that's a magazine right here. We had Madison number 3 and Starkville number 8. So Starkville during the season has moved up in the rank. They had moved up in the rankings to number. Actually, they were high as number 2. After because we had that set up with 1 versus 2 when they played Louisville.
Right.
And then it ended up being a 1-point game, so we stuck them there. And then of course, and then when they lost to Clinton a couple of weeks ago, that dropped them down to 8. And then Madison, when they, of course, lost to Brandon like they did, we dropped them down to 6, and we stuck them at 6, and then they moved their way back up. Now they're number 4. So, because of how other teams have fared throughout the year, so that's just where they are.
And Brandon, I'm just going to ask you straight out: how good is Madison Central?
They're good when they can run the football. And tonight they were able to run the football in the second half. Well, in the first, I say that in the first 2 of their first 3 drives of the game, they fumbled the ball on run attempts. So that's why it was a 0-0 first quarter, and then it was 8-3 at halftime. Starkville scored with 24 seconds left, went for 2, got it to take that lead right before halftime. And then in the second half, Madison did what they do, which is run the ball, establish line of scrimmage, and have explosive plays. Their first 2 drives were touchdowns on explosive plays: a 56-yard run by Glenn Singleton, then a 62-yard touchdown pass from Jaden Johnson to Jay Hart. That put them up 17-8, and they just took off from there. This is something. Madison had 282 yards rushing on the night. 195 of that was in the second half.
Whoa.
That was the difference in the ball game.
Wouldn't you like to have been a fly on the wall in that halftime speech?
Well, I mean, it was nothing special. Toby said after the game we just stuck to do it. We just went to doing what we do when we executed, and that's really what it came down to, and that's what happened. And Starkville on offense couldn't get anything going. They're just not clicking. They had the bye week last week, and then the week before that was the Clinton game, where they got behind 22-0 and had to come from behind. So, because I know that because I was there, I covered that game.
Yeah, you did.
So, yeah, it's just something about them playing down here that or they just can't get going on offense to start games, and they get behind the chains and penalties, all that stuff, and they just didn't play well on offense.
Well, it did kind of clear up a playoff picture a little bit with them, with Starkville losing tonight to Madison Central. Now who? Since I've got you on the phone, we got some Thursday night games, a bunch of them next week. How do you like Thursday night high school football?
I love it because it kind of gets ahead. I kind of get ahead. Well, this Thursday night game, you kind of get ahead kind of look ahead for next week. Like, hey, this matchup is good and all that.
Right.
But next week, with it being playoffs for 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A for Friday, so it kind of helps me. You go to Madison Clinton next Thursday, and then next Friday will be a playoff game somewhere. So,
who do you like in that? Who do you like in that Clinton Madison matchup? You've seen them both.
I've seen them both. Germantown beating Clinton tonight kind of messes things up scenario-wise, in that region. Now if Starkville loses to Tupelo and Madison beats Clinton, I think Starkville misses the playoffs. So, yeah, that's kind of that's how I'm seeing it. But put pen to paper tomorrow with the scenarios. But they going into the game, I like Madison because they play better defensively.
Yeah. Okay.
I just think they play better defensively. Clinton, I mean, this is the type of game Clinton will win. This just feels like a game Clinton will win because they beat Brandon, didn't expect it, beat Starkville, didn't expect it.
Yeah.
Because this feels like a game Clinton will win.
Well, I'll tell
Because
you,
everybody's going to beat Madison.
Coach Carr has done a great job over there, hasn't he?
He's done a fantastic job. And fantastic job. They changed up some things on offense. They go a little bit more tempo than they have in the past. And he's done a great job with those guys.
You know,
Absolutely.
a lot of people don't even know who he is. I'm going to try to get him on the show here in the next week or so and let people know who he is. He came over. He's in his first year at Clinton, and I'm like you. I mean, he's done a great job. He's turned them into a contender this year. Now, you go back to last year. This is a Clinton team that just was busted up every week. Just seemed like they were dropping starters left and right every week and just kind of limped into the end of the season. But apparently this year, not that many devastating injuries, and they're playing solid.
Yeah, that was right. I mean, last year you lost your best defensive player on the fourth play of the game.
Yeah.
To a torn ACL for the year. So that, I mean, it was just bad luck after bad luck. I felt so bad for just last year because, man, it just seemed like every game. And then last year, speaking of the Madison game, their starting quarterback and their backup quarterback got hurt on the same exact play, that was just crazy. But this year, yeah, they play hard. One thing about Clinton, they play hard. And John has done a great job. He's great to work with, great guy. I mean, absolutely fantastic person. So they get a lot out of him defensively. They've given up points, so that kind of hurts them a little bit. They're giving up some points, right? But they play hard. I mean, it's high school football. Anything can happen.
Absolutely. And that's why we love covering it. And next week we got 2 days to cover it. And you have no idea where you'll be next Friday, do you?
No, not yet. Probably, if I had to look at probably Newton County right now. Newton County plays Amory in the first round of playoffs.
Okay. At Newton County?
At Newton County. It gets to go to Decatur. So, more than likely, haven't made it. Like I say, haven't made it. But, yeah, just got done with the brackets for MHSA, so we got those finally done. So yeah, it's time to playoff time. It's time for the real stuff. I say real stuff, but it's just,
all the others were preliminary.
yeah, I mean, hey, get ready for that MRA Hartfield second round.
Fireworks in that one.
Fireworks in that one.
Well, look, man, you enjoy your college football Saturday, and we'll look forward to talking to you after you cover one on Thursday next week and Friday next week.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Brandon. Brandon Shields wrapping it up for us tonight. Most surprising game for you tonight?
Well, I'm a little surprised that Madison Central handled Starkville quite as easily as they did. That one was a little bit of a surprise. I don't know that any of the others surprised me that terribly.
I got one for you.
What's that?
Ocean Springs beating Gulfport.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And just look out for the
But
Greyhounds.
I think the Ocean Springs got off to a really tough start because of the schedule.
Oh, it was brutal.
But it looks like they're getting it together now.
Well, speaking of getting it together, we're going to get it together and get out of here. And we appreciate everybody that listened tonight. And want to thank Chris for producing and Ty to be on the phone. And Abram back behind me. George, as always. Russ saying so long from Mississippi Public Broadcasting. We'll see you back here next week for Friday night Under the Lights.